in Los Angeles. I just flew in from Greensboro, North Carolina. I'm here to see Skinny Puppy's final shows ever. On the first leg of the final tour, I saw Skinny Puppy twice in North Carolina. My first time ever seeing Skinny Puppy was at the Charlotte date. I had the VIP Soundcheck package. Ohgr shouted me out during Soundcheck for a YouTube skit and review I did on the rare 2009 Last Rites double LP. I saw them again in Nashville the next night. The stage tech, Dre, recognized me from YouTube as the set was being broken down. He offered to let me into any other shows I wanted to go to. So just when I thought my journey with Skinny Puppy was over, I ended up seeing them again in New York a week later. They played 2 nights back-to-back at the Irving Plaza. All the while, I was on a mission to get my tour poster and my VIP poster signed by the band. They were out of signed posters at the Charlotte show, and the unsigned posters sold out shortly after I bought mine. No autographs were being signed at the soundchecks, so I waited by the tour bus after the show to see if anyone would come out. Once Ohgr signed my posters, it was the point of no return. I had to try for the whole band. After all, this was their first tour since 2017. These shows would have likely been my last chance for this to happen. It took 4 shows, but with the help of Dre, I eventually got the whole band to sign the posters. There were side quests and fun to be had in New York, and I returned home extremely happy. Since I knew more dates were to be planned, I told Dre I wanted to be there for the very end if he'd have me there. The second leg of the final tour was announced in July. Many nights sold out so quickly that multiple dates were added in a lot of cities. Even the VIP packages were selling out left and right. The final city, Los Angeles, originally had 2 dates. Then it became 3, and then it became 4. So on December 1st, 2nd, 4th, and 5th, 2023, Skinny Puppy would play their final shows ever. Dre was kind enough to put me on the guest list for all 4. So this is it. This is what the end looks like. Of the many side quests I wanted to do while in Los Angeles, I left the airport to go straight to Buffy the Vampire Slayer's house in Torrance. As soon as I got out of the Uber, the street looked familiar. I'd seen this street in many episodes of the show. As far as Buffy's house, it looked like a lot of planting had been done since the show ended. This was the same yard where Spike said the iconic line, "Out for a walk. Bitch." Alright, home base. I know that a lot of fans have traveled for these shows here in Los Angeles, and that's the thing about Skinny Puppy. The Skinny Puppy fanbase, it's a huge community. Many of these fans have gone and seen several shows on this tour and many shows over the years.
Paul McCrory.
Awesome.
Chris Oliveira.
How many times have you seen Skinny Puppy?
First time.
This is your first time. How about that?
Talk to that lady. She's been 51 times. 54. Damn. Right here.
54.
I saw him last right, so I was lucky. But...
Now, are you including Ohgr in that, or just Skinny Puppy?
No, Ohgr would make it 7, because I saw Ohgr and I saw Kevin Key one time.
I mean,
Oh,
it's
that's
legit
perfect.
questions,
Yeah.
right?
You from Los Angeles, man?
Yes, I am.
Oh,
20 minutes away, man.
Oh, that's perfect.
The Belasco Theater was gorgeous. There was bronze everywhere and the stage was big. Lead into Gold was opening on this leg of the tour, just like they did on the first leg. I found my spot and waited for them to start playing. Then it hit me that after these shows are over, Lead into Gold is going to be the band I've seen the most times. That's 9 times, since I'd seen them 4 times with Skinny Puppy in April, and also saw them open for Ohgr's solo band in 2018. Fugue was the opening song of their set. According to the album, the song was dedicated to the late Bill Rieflin. Paul's voice sounded hoarse. It looked like he had a cold. But those bass lines still thumped hard, and we were in good spirits. Lead into Gold finished, and the wait was on. After a few minutes, the lights dimmed and everyone cheered. When Kevin, Matthew, and Justin appeared, it was game on. Kev's synth started making noises, then the VX Gas Attack samples started, and there was the show. Ohgr and Dustin, per their routine for this tour, waved as silhouettes behind the screen. Like on the first go-round, Ohgr played an alien known as the Other. Dustin's character then tortured and performed experiments on the Other. It was a commentary on how society views other cultures and the unknown. New elements were added to the routine, such as the baby. Some people complained about the lack of fake blood when these shows started, so maybe the addition of the throat slit satisfied those people. Missing from the first leg is the spoon feeding of the brain. That's probably because it went wrong in Minneapolis, and Ohgr had to have teeth pulled. I managed to catch one of the notes Dustin threw during Human Disease. For the most part, the set list was the same. Notably absent from the first leg was Love in Vain, but deep down Trauma Hounds was part of the main set instead of the encore. For the encore, film was played. It was encompassing as it reverberated off the theater walls.
Thank you very much for coming out tonight, you guys. This is our first day of 4 in this beautiful theater. The screening is so well so far. We love being here. I hope some of you are coming out for the next couple of nights. Maybe not, but thank you for coming out tonight. We wouldn't be here without you. We had no other help growing for 40 years. I can't believe it. I'm so humbled. And I'm so, I kind of grew up with you guys. I went through some real shit when I was young. And without all of you giving me the support that you did, I wouldn't be here right now. I might not have the key to happiness. I don't have the happy button, but I feel pretty good with who I am right now. Thanks to you. Thank you very much. This is a simile.
The show ended with Candle, and everybody left happy. A friend I'd met at one of the New York shows, Anna, was flying in to see the second show. She flew in just in time to go to the after party next door. It was good to connect again after several months. It's a small world. I did see Dre, and I thanked him for putting me on the guest list. And I told him, hey, I'm serious. I want to take you to lunch as a thank you for getting me into the show. And he said, yeah, let's do it Sunday. So yeah. One last thing. During the encore, Ohgr saw me in the audience. I was close to the front row. He made eye contact with me, and he pointed at me and he smiled. Having not slept much, I didn't do a whole lot on the second day. Being jet-lagged and only getting 4 hours of sleep is a bad combo. I visited the house that was the Fisher & Sons funeral home in the HBO series 6 Feet Under. Only the exterior of the house was used for the show, but it still looked bigger in person than I thought it would. My friend Jax and I hung out, watched videos, and ate pizza. We'd started talking online in 2017 and were meeting in person for the first time on this trip. Most of the day I was thinking about the band. I'd never heard them play Testure, so I hoped to hear that as an encore one night. An interview was shared online about the band ending, as well as upcoming projects. Cyberactive, Kevin's project with Frontline Assembly's Bill Lieb and Reese Fulber, would be releasing an album. The article also said that Ohgr and Paul Barker would make music together. It was time for show number 2. There seemed to be more people in line earlier this time. As such, the venue filled up quicker. Lead into Gold played the same set, but Paul's voice sounded better. He seems to be slowly getting over whatever ailed him.
Let's see, I'd like to introduce this next song. It's a song that some of you might know from eons ago, from the Watch Track days.
This time I was on Kevin's side of the stage, so there were some things that I could hear better this time than I could the night before. The security were also handing out water bottles to anyone who wanted them. Very professional. It was noticeably hotter in the venue than it was the night before. Kevin, meanwhile, was getting into it. There was a lot of gear around him, and he'd always been a master at his craft. During the encore, Puppy played a song I'd never heard them play, Rash Reflection. That got me going.
So, you're from Norfolk?
Yes, Norfolk, Virginia.
That's awesome. So, how many times have you seen Skinny Puppy?
I think this is my seventh or eighth time. I followed the first leg in April, and now I'm here for the last 4.
So all of these times have been this year?
Yeah, actually. They've been my favorite band for almost 20 years, but I never got the chance to see them.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
See, I'm 28, so this year was the first time I've been able to see them, and I'm living it up.
That's awesome. Good for you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, what a tour to do it on.
Absolutely. So you seeing the rest of the dates here in Los Angeles?
Yes, yesterday and Monday and Tuesday. I will be back here.
Amazing.
Skinny Puppy concert number 6 for me is out of the way. Now it's time for a day off. So, today I think I'm going to go to Hollywood Forever Cemetery and see some graves. To show my appreciation to Dre for putting me on the guest list, I offered to take him to lunch. Kevin was doing a live stream on Patreon that day, so Dre was on call in case Kevin needed him. But Dre said he'd see when he'd be available. There were some graves I wanted to see, and I wanted to meet up with Anna and Jax. Walking around Hollywood Forever Cemetery, the animals seemed totally at ease. The black kitty with the big internet following, close up, was especially friendly. I would have to find Roz Williams later. Dre was meeting me out front so we could shop at Amoeba. There was a botch record he needed, so I grabbed that for him before he had to leave. That was my way of thanking him. It turned out Anna was a few minutes away at a vintage clothing store.
Flew in from New York. Sucks you're leaving tomorrow. It would be great to see you at the next 2.
Have fun.
I will.
After an attempt at seeing a botanical garden, which ended up just being an art gallery, we went to the Rainbow Bar and Grill. The whole place was a shrine for Lemmy Kilmister, but there was a lot of rock and metal history in this building. They also made an awesome burger. Anna and I parted ways. Now Jax was to meet me in Hollywood. There were a ton of Hollywood Walk of Fame stars I was excited to see, especially George Carlin. And then there was the Scum and Villainy Star Wars Cantina. We split some mac and cheese. December 4th, the band was playing again, so there was only this night and the next night that Skinny Puppy would be an active band. Bela Lugosi was buried in Holy Cross Cemetery in Culver City. I had to see the grave and play some Bauhaus. The bats have left the bell tower, indeed. I had to finish my exploring in Hollywood forever. Roz Williams was in the Chapel Columbarium. There had been some confusion as to whether or not Roz's ashes were in Hollywood Forever Cemetery. I'd heard conflicting reports as to whether or not the urn was empty. I'd heard his ashes were spread in Runyon Canyon, and even heard his ashes were spread in India. Was this just a memorial spot? Wanting answers, I sent a message to Nico B. He directed a short film Roz was in, and released a couple books about Roz. Nico's response was that some of Roz's ashes were spread in Runyon Canyon, off the hill overlooking Errol Flynn's former estate. Some of the ashes were also given to friends and family, but some of the ashes were indeed in the urn at Hollywood Forever Cemetery. Roz was upstairs. I played some Christian Death, but had the whole room to myself. Sound echoed with every word and every footstep. Nobody was in there. It was eerie. Next stop was Forest Lawn Memorial Park. Lemmy Kilmister and Ronnie James Dio were there. The driver dropped me off at the big church where Lemmy's funeral took place. I remember watching the live stream for it. The cemetery maps I was finding online were confusing. A security guy directed me to the mausoleums near the entrance where construction was going on. Lemmy was in the Columbarium of Sacred Trust. Bingo. Directly opposite of Lemmy was Dio. Carrie Fisher was in the next section, so I saw her as well.
So, Annika, where are you originally from?
From Switzerland.
Switzerland,
Yes.
Nice.
How long was that flight?
12 hours.
You're better than I am.
Yes.
So this is number 50 what times that you've seen?
53.
53 tonight, okay.
Yes, and tomorrow 54.
So there's only tonight and tomorrow. Are you feeling the impending dread that I'm feeling that it's going to be over soon?
I can imagine how it is to live without Skinny Puppy life.
Hey,
But I think there are some rumors about new projects from Ohgr.
yeah, he says that he's probably going to do something with Paul Barker afterwards.
And
That'd be awesome.
we will see and hope. We will see and hope. I think.
It turned out Annika was standing behind me at one of the New York shows. Only when she mentioned it did I remember seeing her. What a small world. Lead Into Gold got on, and Paul was noticeably feeling better this time than he did the two shows before. However, he was having technical difficulties and was clearly not happy about it. I can imagine there was a lot of pressure for these last few shows. I'd heard through the grapevine that Skinny Puppy was dreading the last show. Some big names were in attendance. I looked up and saw Al Jorgensen in the balcony rocking out to Lead Into Gold. David J. from Bauhaus was also at the show. It was warming to see Skinny Puppy have respect from their peers. After all, a lot of bands wouldn't exist or have the success they've had without Skinny Puppy. Skinny Puppy were getting sounds and doing performances a lot of bands could only dream of. This band has meant a lot to a lot of people, and they're going to be very missed. I think even Skinny Puppy themselves underestimated how well this tour was going to do. There was a difference in energy with Skinny Puppy this time. It's amazing what a day of rest can do for a band. Justin pounded the drums harder, Ohgr convulsed more violently, and Dustin moved a lot quicker. As such, us in the audience danced more, headbanged harder, and screamed louder. This was my third time seeing them in 4 days, and I wasn't bored at all. In fact, I enjoyed this even more. Kevin had said it'd be a good idea to see multiple nights to hear the new songs they'd learned for the encores. For this encore, we heard TFWO and Far Too Frail. I'd never heard either of these songs live either. It made me happier I was going to multiple shows. I caught another note. Comparing it to the other one I caught, it appeared that everything in purple was printed, while everything in black was handwritten. Even Ohgr's autograph looked different, which had to mean he hand-signed these notes. In other words, they were throwing out autographs from the stage.
So what's your name, man?
I'm Wave.
Nice.
Wave in Controlled Demolition.
Tony.
What's up, Tony?
Hanging.
They fucking killed it! I fucking love Skinny Puppy, bro. I fucking love these fucking bands. They changed my fucking life. Damn, bro. I was like feeling it. I'm super grateful. And when I say thank you to them, I fucking mean it. They changed my whole fucking life. I wouldn't be doing the music I ever did. I learned them from a friend that was older than mine in the 90s. It's like, oh, damn, bro, changed my whole fucking life. Like, seriously. Them in Ministry and fucking Depeche Mode, Skinny Puppy, all these fucking guys changed my life, bro.
And here we are, December 5th, Ohgr's birthday, the final day of Skinny Puppy as a band. They're playing tonight, and it hasn't even hit me yet that this is really the end. I did laundry at Jax's place, but I wanted to be at the venue early for the VIP Soundcheck. The VIP package for the final show sold out quickly. Fortunately, there was someone from Chicago who couldn't make the show, so he sold me both his and his wife's VIP packages. Since he couldn't split the order, I had to buy both, but he directed me to someone who'd buy one of them from me. I sold it to a guy who was flying in from Texas. We met up in line and talked about synthesizers. My prediction was that this show would be a completely different animal than the other shows. This was it.
So you're looking forward to Kevin's new projects?
Of course, looking forward to anything that they want to do after this.
Yeah, that new Cyberactive looks like it's going to be fucking awesome.
It'll kill. It'll kill. I had a chance to see Frontline Assembly play an encore at Cold Waves many years ago, where they performed Cyberactive as their farewell song, and it was an incredible experience.
Oh yeah.
It was also Ohgr's 61st birthday. A giant prop cake was brought into the building. I imagined they'd use it on stage somehow during the show, or maybe for a backstage party. Later, I learned that a dancer wearing an alien mask popped out of the cake to give Ohgr some birthday spankings. All while Culture Club's Do You Really Want to Hurt Me was playing. It was the funniest thing I'd ever heard.
So they're going to come out and play a few songs, and then we're going to line up to do photos. The photos are going to be on your phones, so please have them ready with your cameras open for me. Make sure you have enough space on your phone for me to take like a bunch of rapid fire photos. I'll take them both directions. You'll have a ton.
Yeah, here we are, day 4 and the final show of Skinny Puppy. Are you guys stoked? Yeah! And it's a special day in that I believe it is I thought it was our 40th show, marking the 40th year, but it's actually our 41st show. So you're at the 41st show of this tour, and it has been a gas to develop and build. Everyone can probably say that in their own department, in their own world, how much it's grown since the beginning. If you were here at the beginning, saw the first leg, you maybe know the difference between that and the second leg.
the story has evolved and grown into this ever-morphing world. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Ohgr. Happy birthday, shall we all sing happy birthday? Birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Ohgr. Happy birthday to you. Yes, Mom. Yes, Mom. Look at us. 4 years went by in a blink. Take care of your life because it goes by quick. It does, right? Before you know it. We always said if we turn 60, it's like, you know, we'll still be doing this and that. So here we are, and we thank you for the support that you've given us all along our careers to be able to do this. Because without you guys, we wouldn't be able to be here and do this. And it's just been an honor.
40 years ago, I entered this band in kind of a feckless place in my life. I didn't know what I was going to do. My parents had one path charted for me. I had this idea of sitting in a tree like an ape, just staring at the world going by. And that would be my life. It was very feckless, and I stumbled into this great gift at a time when I was very troubled. And I decided to put it all up on stage. And you guys received it with such grace and gave me so much strength over 40 years. I don't think I'll ever really understand what being happy is, because I wasn't born with the manual, but I feel pretty good about who I am right now. And if that's the thing I can pass on to anybody out there who struggles in their life, just keep at it, because you never know what's coming around the corner. And this was the greatest gift to me, and you all gave me the greatest gift by accepting who I was, who I became, and who I want to become. And you're the greatest group of people I could ever be a part of, as far as a community of people. And I just want to thank you all. You treat each other really good. I have to say the goth community is one of the most open communities, goth, industrial, whatever we are, the others, I kind of like to call them. We're all kind of in this together, and we don't judge anybody, more or less. There's still some, obviously, that do, but as a community, I'm really proud to be a part of this whole thing. And again, you guys sustained me for 40 years, so thank you very much.
Thank you. Early in the soundcheck, Dustin saw me, smiled, and nodded his head. At the Charlotte soundcheck in April, only Ohgr seemed to know me because of my Last Rites skit. I gave him a channel patch, and he said to the guys, "Do any of you know this guy? This is Killbot!" This time, when it was my turn to get a picture, they all said, "Hey, look who it is!" Ohgr said, "It's the legend." I took it they all saw the YouTube video I did on the shows from earlier in the year. I wished Ohgr a happy birthday and said, "Thank you guys for everything." Then I said, "Since 2 of you are Canadian, are any of you Rush fans at all?" They all got quiet. Ohgr said, sure. I told them, both Rush and Skinny Puppy are Canadian bands, and both you and Rush played hometown shows in Canada before ending your careers here in Los Angeles. They seemed impressed by that fact. I then asked Matthew if he could spare a guitar pick at the end of the show. He said he'd rub one on his balls before handing it to me. We said our goodbyes, and I walked away grinning from ear to ear. The soundcheck attendees were directed outside after pictures and merch were acquired. A mass energy was shared on the sidewalk. Once the doors opened, I was chomping at the bit. This beautiful venue was a great place to send off such an iconic band. The lights went down, and Lead into Gold started playing. Everything went well with Paul and Josh's gear this time, and they were both looking gracious.
We call this color Fuck You Pink.
Then it was over. Any minute now, the lights were going to dim. The final Skinny Puppy set was coming. Justin's drums were struck, Matthew's amps buzzed, and Kevin's synths squealed. Then the opening samples of VX Gas Attack began. Ohgr's opening speech from behind the screen commenced, and the song kicked in. At some point, the cart holding the baby fell over. Water spilled everywhere. The lab coats cleaned it up quickly. Those guys had to be nervous after that happened, but Dustin did his best to make it seem like it was part of the show. My feeling was that this would be my last chance to scream along to Heart Set Head and dance to Warning, so I acted accordingly. A mosh pit formed behind me and I was pushed towards the front. There was weight in every minute. I loved in these shows when Dustin would approach Kevin's station, and Kevin would stare him down as if to say, "The stuff you're doing to him over there? Don't even think about it." Dig It ended, and we were in for an encore of a lifetime. Confetti poppers were given to people up front to set off when Ohgr came back on stage.
Thank you all very much for coming out tonight and joining me on my reverse Sweet 16. We've been doing this for 40 years and we wouldn't do it without you, and you know that. I mean, we have the most amazing group of people here tonight. Everyone that has been supporting us for 40 years. You guys are the reason why we're here. We wouldn't exist without you. Without further ado, let's start this shit up. Thank you very much.
This was my 8th time seeing Skinny Puppy, and they finally played Testure. Ohgr used the cart to smash the props used on the tour. He threw out what he could to the crowd. Even Cedric was destroyed during a simile. Farewell to a stage prop that was used for many years. Pieces of Cedric were thrown out to the audience as well. Emotions ran high when things started to break. Candle was the final song, the last song Skinny Puppy would ever play on stage. I sang along and took it in. I'll admit, my eyes watered a little. When Candle finished, the band and crew gathered for hugs. Matthew gave me a guitar pick. Thankfully, no balls were rubbed on it. We sang Happy Birthday again for Ohgr. After Kevin and Ohgr's hugs got our loudest screams, Matthew yelled for us to put our hands up for a picture. And then they all walked off stage.
Probably one of the best shows I'll ever fucking see. That was so... It was a culmination of so much passion and so much love for the band itself. Just, it's hard to describe.
That was the fucking most awesome show I ever saw.
I hope I'm able to build a time machine and go back and see them again.
All I can say is if somebody recommends you go to LA to see Skinny Puppy at their final show, do it.
Let's hear it for Skinny Puppy!
That show was historical. Easily the best time I've ever seen Skinny Puppy, and also one of the best shows I've ever been to. It was a big year for Skinny Puppy. A lot of old school fans came to the shows. People who saw them on the Last Rites tour were there, as were people who were excited to see them on the Greater Wrong of the Right tour. Many newer and younger fans came to the shows and left thrilled. Many nights sold out. A lot of fans brought gifts to the soundchecks, especially for Ohgr's birthday. Important people showed up, such as Dwayne Gettle's sister. People still cared a lot after so many decades. The band may be over, but the music lives on. Skinny Puppy will always have value.